All right, 12 o'clock on your Thursday afternoon now. Welcome in. It is the halftime show. Tyler Head along with you. Bill Gunner is quite literally outside of the studio doors right now as he and a couple other people here at the station are working on some best of 2025 stuff, which for those that haven't heard, we will be out for the holidays over the course of the next couple weeks, but we're going to have a lot of some of the best moments of the year, replaying here on 107.5 Game over the course of the next couple weeks, including some things that we're working on like they are right now of a lot of us that haven't got a chance to work together a whole lot this year, kind of recapping what we saw and what we experienced with Gamecock sports throughout the entire 2025 calendar year. So you'll be able to hear that over the course of the next couple weeks, and looking forward to seeing how all those kind of things come together. But yeah, indeed, we're almost there to the end of 2025, as we have a week until Christmas and right at 2 weeks until the new year. Obviously, we'd much rather be preparing for a Gamecock bowl game because, this time a year ago, we were getting set for the Citrus Bowl on New Year's Eve against Illinois, and the excitement around that and what Carolina was doing with recruiting and the portal, because the portal was open at that point in time. A little bit different this year with the way the schedule shifts around. Again, portal not going to open up until January the 2nd. We'll get into some things that Coach Beamer had to say coming up here in just a minute in reference to all that coming up here from what he would said on his appearance on the post-game show yesterday. But, 2026, it's got to be a good year. It's got for, quite frankly, all the men's sports, right? It has to be, or else some tough decisions might end up being made in reference to who's staying and who's going and all that kind of stuff. So, this year is going to be a year to forget in a lot of ways for Gamecock football. And here's to hoping that, 2026 ends up being a whole heck of a lot better. But we'll certainly see as that year does unfold. College football playoff getting set to start tomorrow. It's weird, right? We haven't talked a ton about it this week, and I'm pretty excited for a couple of the matchups that we do have coming up this weekend. Those would be, of course, Alabama and Oklahoma tomorrow night, and then Texas A&M and Miami coming up at noon on Saturday. A lot of two games. I'm going to watch them, obviously, but my excitement level for what those games can be certainly not quite on the same level as the first two, because let's face it, Tulane should lose by a couple scores to Ole Miss, and James Madison should lose by several scores to Oregon as well. Now, crazy things can happen, and maybe we'll see an upset or something along those lines. My hopes for that aren't exactly high. And the unfortunate thing, because I know a lot of people look at the schedule for the playoff this weekend and say, well, why don't you take the A&M game versus Miami and put that at 7:30 or whatever? Well, here's the thing. The NFL is not budging when it comes to its Saturday games in December, as they've done for a very long time, my entire life that I can remember, that once you get past conference championships, once you get past Army-Navy, for those next couple of Saturdays to wrap up the year, they will play games on those weekends. And this was always the one that, that really typically started with the NFL, and even with the playoff shifting around to requiring these big games to be played on this Saturday, the NFL's like, sorry, we're still going to play games on those days, so good luck to you, but we're going to crush you in the ratings, because that's the thing. And I know locally here, we'll have to focus more on college football, but in the greater footprint of America, more people are going to tune in for NFL games than college football games. That's just how the ratings are. That's why the NFL is the machine that it is, and they can go up against anybody and win those ratings battles. So, ESPN and the games they're sub-licensing to TNT, decided it would probably be in the best interest to not put the best matchups head-to-head with the NFL, instead going with the games that have the opportunity to be blowouts, with Ole Miss hosting Tulane and then Oregon playing host to JMU. So we'll see how those games obviously end up going. And it should be hopefully a fun weekend that sets the table for a fun quarterfinal round on January 1st, or on January 31st, and then January the 1st. And then, of course, the semifinals 8-9 days after that. And, of course, the national championship, I believe, that'll be on January the 19th, so right at a month from now. I think the way the calendar works, at least with the way it's structured now, you'll have a straight solid month of the 12-team college football playoff, with obviously gaps in between the games and all that of roughly 10 days or so. But looking forward to all that, and we'll get into some of those matchups, maybe hear from some of those coaches a little bit later on in the show as well. But we'll start off here with South Carolina and Coach Beamer. As I mentioned yesterday, he was on the post-game show with Jay and Terry. He typically pops in every year right before the holidays, and was asked a number of things about some of the things that have transpired over the course of the past couple weeks, the hires, the sellers news, and all that kind of stuff. And let's real quick start off, Ed Burr. This will be cut number 5, if you don't mind. This is Coach Beamer yesterday when he was on the post-game show talking to Jay and Terry. Cut number 5 here, Ed, about the status of LaNorris Sellers and where the negotiations of his return sit at as of right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some of that information from you guys and just refreshing social media to see if there's anything new on that one. We've had great conversation. Okay, well, I think it is. So everything's good, and I think there's some, certainly details that need to be worked out and things like that. And let's face it, nowadays these guys have, agents and whatnot. So there's a lot of different aspects of every player on our team that's different than before. But my conversations with LaNorris have been fantastic, and this isn't just since the end of the season. This is regularly throughout the season. Since the season, before the season ended, and then since the season has ended, just in regards to, how we get better and how he gets better as a quarterback. And he'll be the first to tell you he needs to play better, and we've got to coach him better, and we've got to be better around him, and we all have to be accountable, and he understands that. So we've had some great conversations throughout the season, since the end of the season, and like with him, just like all of our players, want this place to be a place where they want to be, where they can accomplish all their goals academically and athletically, and that's certainly still the case here at Carolina. Nothing's changed, and all indications I've had from LaNorris are he wants to be here, and he knows that the job's not finished, and there's a lot of excitement about 26, and he and a lot of our other players that are returning feel that same way.
That is college football in the year of 2025, is it not? Where, again, you got to finalize contract details and talk to agents and all those kind of things. That's just where we're at, and love it or hate it, it's the nature of the beast. And we mentioned this the other day, with Southern Cal has been tweeting out about their guys re-signing, like Jordan Mayava and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, it still feels very weird to talk about guys signing new deals with college teams, but it's what you got to do. And if you want to hang on to top talent like LaNorris Sellers, well, you have to make sure that the deal's good enough and worth his while to want to come back here. And, we've been talking about this on and off for the past couple weeks because that, became the biggest question once the season ended was, okay, what's Sellers going to do, right? And he has opportunity to go to the NFL. Obviously, there's plenty of teams that will offer him things to go other places, maybe even more than South Carolina. Again, Auburn did that last year. That is what, came out in that piece from The Athletic not too long ago, or before the season started, I guess, about Auburn offering him, $4 million a year to go be their quarterback, and he turned that down for less money to come back to South Carolina and continue on what he had started here. So where the money stacks up this time around, we don't know. Again, you're going to have to pay for a talent like that, and, he's not just going to come here for nothing, obviously, but it does, all indications, again, this goes back to something we talked about at the beginning of the week, everything trending towards that getting done here soon, and you hear Beamer talking about it there, didn't seem overly stressed about it, just trying to cross the T's and dot the I's and get all the final details and all that kind of stuff done. So we can officially say that LaNorris Sellers is coming back. Then everything else hopefully falls in line behind that. We're still waiting on Dylan Stewart. We're still waiting on Nick Harbor. We're feeling good about those guys. All indications right now is they're also working on deals to get those guys back, and that'd be a nice little early Christmas present if within the next week you can get the final thumbs up on if those kind of things are going to happen or not. But, got to be patient. Again, portal doesn't open up until January 2nd. We'll get into what Beamer had to say about the portal coming up here in a little bit, but you feel good about what's happened so far. Obviously, you've lost a couple guys and some starters. Nick Sharp, who started 5 games, then Trevon Ball, who started 11 this year. But you do feel like you're going to have the opportunity to go out there and get many transfer portal players, on the offensive line to fill out that room. And that's something that we knew even a couple weeks ago before these guys started transferring out, that was going to be a major area of emphasis when it came to the transfer portal and building up this roster for 2026. And we'll get into what Beamer had to say about that coming up here in just a little bit. But as I mentioned yesterday, it is interesting as we sit here on December the 18th, a week away from Christmas, where it wasn't even a month ago. It was right there at the end of November. I think it was November 30th when they lost the game against Clemson, and we were down, way down on this team for what the season had been, for what the offense had been, for how players had played. And, you know, I didn't expect us to be here a week out from Christmas saying, you know what, feel pretty okay about things right now. No, yes, but we're not going to be completely satisfied until we see the product on the field match what we want it to be. And it's going to be September of next year till we actually get the opportunity to know that one way or the other. But this is where you got to give Beamer credit, because he's gone out and done the things we wanted him to do, right? In these first couple of weeks since the season ended, we wanted him to go out there and make a significant splash hire at offensive coordinator, and he did. Kendall Briles is a name. Kendall Briles has been around for a while. Kendall Briles has an identity in his offense that people are excited to see translate over here to South Carolina. Made what we think are really good assistant hires around him, with the offensive line coach and Coach Clem that he's known for years and years and years, and a running backs coach that not only is a buddy of Shane's going back to their time at Mississippi State in the mid-2000s, but also somebody that has a really good track record with namely recruiting, which is something you've struggled with at the offensive line, or excuse me, at the running back spot for really the majority of the time that Beamer's been here at South Carolina. So that seems like a guy that can go in and make a difference in those regards. And then again, when you talk about trending things, right now it does seem like Sellers is going to come back. Still waiting for pen to hit paper on that. So there's always an opportunity things to go sideways, but you feel good about the prospects of where things are at as of right now in regards to that. So plenty of reason to feel good about what South Carolina has done in the past 3 weeks. Again, it's got to translate on the field. Still got to go win the game. Still got to get yourself back on track and be a contender in the SEC. But as far as the offseason moves so far, things have been pretty good up to this point. Again, we'll continue getting into what Beamer had to say on the post-game show more as the show goes along. We'll also continue to recap 2025 as a year, the good, the bad, the in-between. What did we get wrong? That's also going to be a point of conversation because, you know, contrary to popular belief, we're not right about everything that we say on these airwaves. So there are some things that I'm not afraid to say, yeah, I was kind of wrong about that. And we'll recap some of that stuff as well as talk about the college football playoff too as the show does go along. It is the halftime show. Tyler Head, Ed Bird, Bill Gunner should hop in here momentarily as we continue on your Thursday here on The Game. All right, welcome back in. It is the halftime show. As I knock my microphone over, Tyra Ed, Bill Gunner, Ed Bird, along with you here on your Thursday on the game. Again, 1 week till Christmas. Hopefully you've got your letters into Santa so far. You're getting into a crunch time period if you want him to make the toys that you want to deliver on Christmas. I imagine there's going to be a lot of Gamecock coaches with letters to Santa requesting a lot of things coming up in 2026. And again, I mentioned a moment ago, we'll get into some of the stuff Beamer had to say about the transfer portal and all that as the show does go along. But we're kind of putting the bow on 2025, and unfortunately the not so great year that it was for a lot of Gamecock sports. And again, we'll go through what we got right, what we got wrong, and obviously preview the college ball playoff and all that kind of stuff as well. But welcome back in.
Sorry. Ed was talking in my ear.
All right, sorry.
Ed was talking in my ear, and you know I was trying to catch my breath here. So, yeah, we've been wrapping up end of the year stuff around here. And nice quiet night last night.
Not too bad. I caught a little bowl action.
A little bowl action. You actually had an interesting – this is the new thing about bowls. Old Dominion and South Florida last night would have been really interesting with their quarterbacks, with their coaching situations, with everything going on. Instead, you had Alex Golish off to Auburn from South Florida. Both quarterbacks elected to opt out of the game. It was an odd game. It was a different time. And then the Louisiana-Delaware game was phenomenal.
Yeah. Shout out to Delaware. First year in FBS.
Yeah.
Winning a bowl game and
keeping us all involved to the final second of the game.
It's fun. And that's what's so beautiful about bowl games, right? And I did get to watch some Delaware this year because they played on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays, as we got later on in the year. But these are a lot of teams that you don't know a ton about. Now, yes, we got to see Old Dominion up close and personal a year ago when they scared the crap out of us back in September. But these are teams you may not know a ton about or just want to see a fun game. And I think we've got some pretty interesting matchups so far in bowl season. And looking forward to tonight. We got the Xbox Bowl with Missouri State and Arkansas State. You saw the kids got Xboxes for that.
Yep.
Like swag bags are still a thing. I know we're in the NIL era, and some of these guys, I don't imagine Missouri State's NIL budget is insane.
No.
So I don't know if all those players can swing Xboxes or not, but they all got them for being a part of the game.
And maybe that's where we're kind of heading with NIL and bowl games and trying to fit all the puzzle pieces together. For Delaware and Louisiana, for Old Dominion, I'd probably put South Florida a tier ahead. But for Missouri State and Arkansas State, these bowl games mean something.
Of course.
And one's good and one's bad. The good, what you just said. Hey, everybody gets an Xbox. We get a little bit more per diem. We get to go travel to somewhere exotic, like where was that one the other night? Montgomery, Alabama.
That's right.
But
for two teams in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, for a rivalry game that had not been played in a while. But they, but I'll tell you, players will not opt out of this unless they've already made a decision. The only reason they're opting out is because they've made it. They don't know. They're not just entering the transfer portal. They know where they're going.
Most of the time, yes.
And here's why I say that. Because otherwise, this is another tryout for you. This is another chance to catch the attention. If you've got 3 or 4 schools who are kind of battling over you and there's a little bit of an NIL war, this is a little bit of an opportunity to go out and play and have a big game for say, a Missouri State player tonight. And for to say, like, hey, coach, game's on at 7 o'clock, or I don't know what time the game comes on tonight. But it makes it easier for them to go, all right, I'm going to be playing. And the coaches go, all right, let's watch and see exactly what we're getting here.
Well, and we know this to be true, that every coaching staff has guys whose specific job is to try and scout talent elsewhere. Again, they found Trinidad Chambliss at Ferris State. Yes, it's a national championship program, but I don't know how many other programs in the country were looking at D2 schools when it came to scouting quarterbacks, but they found Trinidad Chambliss, Lane Kiffin gave them the thumbs up, and obviously they're a team that's getting set to play in the college football playoff. So, yeah, I mean, there's got to be staffers across the street that are going to be locked in on the Xbox Bowl tonight saying, hey, I like that defensive lineman. Oh, that left tackle, well, maybe not too bad. Running back, okay. Like, again, you can't exhaust enough options when it comes to scouting talent around the country, because I know we kind of focus on where guys come from and star ratings and all that kind of stuff. You can find plenty of good talent at these schools that maybe slipped under the radar coming out of high school that can come here and have an impact. So you just never know where you can find those guys.
Well, I think the thing is it wiser right now? And let's use Shane Beamer in South Carolina as an example, because I think inadvertently when you started all this. This was not the plan, but now it needs to be the plan. But is it smarter to go into the high school recruiting right now when you need to win in 2026 and go recruit a high school player and eat up another scholarship, or to wait for the transfer portal and take a guy who is a little bit more college ready, who's been in a college system, who's played in college football games? I can just tell you what I've been told by a lot of people, and never actually heard the other way. It doesn't matter if you're at Missouri State or Arkansas State or, one of these low-level programs. You've had more of a experience with college than if you're a senior in high school. The weightlifting is different. The college schedule, the school class schedule with your practice and everything, they've learned that a little bit. They've learned the college concepts.
The speed of the game.
Speed of the game, yeah. And so you got to win in 2026. Do you want to take another 4-star prospect, or do you want to go get a guy who you're taking to contribute?
Yeah. And you can't ignore the high school stuff, because, again, you still need to build for the future and have depth and development and all that kind of stuff. But you're right. If it really came down to it, and let's say South Carolina desperately needed to fill one of the quarterback spots, you are losing Judge Collier. We feel like Vakari Swain could obviously jump into that role and have no problem. But let's say you just desperately had to fill this corner spot, and you're looking at 5-star cornerback out of whatever big name high school from around the country, or a guy that's played 3 seasons at a G5 school but has really good numbers and really good, a really good reputation at the college level. I'm taking the latter guy because, again, I've seen it in college. Yes, maybe he's not played the same competition, but it's a more apt comparison than, 5-star kid that maybe played a bunch against a bunch of guys that were a foot shorter than him, covering them for 3-4 years of his high school career. So, again, it's a balance. But, yes, if you're truly looking for immediate impact production, portal's your way to go.
Well, again, I'll go back, and let's just use a guy whose name is now starting to pop up because he entered the transfer portal yesterday, and that's going to be Cam Cook at Florida State. Now, would you rather have Cam Cook, who's played at Florida State? I don't think his numbers are – I was trying to pull back up his numbers. I don't think they're that spectacular. But would you rather have him, or would you rather have kept Amari Thomas or landed Carson Baker at the running back spot? Because we all know South Carolina needs another running back. Like, that running back to me is probably going to be the number 1A concern when they go to the portal. Like, all right, have a list of about 7 guys, because we simply cannot miss. We have to land all running back and possibly 2.
I want to go with a guy that, even if the numbers have not been spectacular, that's proven production at the college level. And again, we get caught up in the star ratings. We get caught up in where guys come from. But I always go back to this example. Torsez Simpkins came from North Carolina Central at the FCS level, and he was your best offensive lineman in 2024 and got himself into the NFL because of that. So name association is not always indicative of how successful somebody's going to be. Now, you can go get, again, we talked yesterday about Gabriel Brownlow-Dinley, 5-star guy, came from Texas A&M, came in here and played up to that potential. Got dinged up, but still played really well this year, and he was kind of our 4th guy of needed to retain out of all the ones that are still not officially confirmed, to come back as of right now. So it does happen that way sometimes, but it's not always a guarantee.
Speaking of the transfer portal, we have not some breaking news because it occurred over about an hour ago when this started to come out, but I would label this as another big-time quarterback. I don't know how you feel about it. Missouri quarterback Beau Pribula has decided to enter the transfer portal. Now, Pribula had a bit of an interesting season because I thought he would be really good, and at times he was. But I don't know if he ever really lived up to being the guy that I thought he would be, Tyler.
Well, and I think it's significant to remember as well, like, he didn't outright win the job, right? They had a quarterback competition going into their opening game against Central Arkansas. Sam Horn just happened to get hurt at the very beginning of that game. Then it became, okay, well, Beau Pribula, it's your job now. And he did get dinged up throughout the entire year and didn't blow people away, but it was almost kind of by default, okay, now you're the starter. Sam Horn maybe could have taken the reins and done something different.
Well, I'll just say, talking to some people out there and reading the stuff on specifically on the Power Mizzou side, I think that's it, 24/7 Sports, the general feeling that Eli was screwing around, if you will. They used another word. But Sam Horn was not going to be the starter. And that Eli in that opener, I can't remember, who were they playing?
Central Arkansas.
And that basically Eli was trying to do a solid for Sam Horn and be like, yeah, you're still the guy, because I know a lot of people are like, dude, you gotta let Bo get ready. He's got to play, man. Like, you can't, because if you go back, I think it was Bo was getting the first quarter, Sam was getting the second quarter.
That was the plan.
But the general consensus was that Bo was the better quarterback. But we'll see. Eli Drinkowitz has been good about being able to fix that. I'm sure he'll go to the transfer portal now and find his next guy, or he's got a guy already lined up. I don't feel like this is catching him off guard.
It's not. Again, we'll see where they end up landing. I'm imagining they're probably going to also land another phenomenal portal running back, because they seem to do that every single year. I don't know if Ahmad Hardy has more eligibility yet or not. I haven't checked on that, but they knock the running back portal stuff out of the park, and we'll see what they do as far as quarterback goes for next year, because, again, they didn't have the year they wanted, but they still had a very respectable season.
803-404-6100. That is how you can reach us if you want to do so. All right, we'll really start to settle into the show here coming back, get into a few different things here as we want to get to today. What things in sports that were most wrong, kind of a naughty or nice list. And we'll also get into, you have to watch one Christmas movie for 48 hours straight. Popcorn, soda, and what do you want to say, 4 bathroom breaks?
I don't need more than 4.
6 bathroom, okay. We'll do that as Tyler wraps up his year. We're rolling along. You're listening to Tyler Head, Bill Gunner, and it is producer Ed Bird. It is the halftime show. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where they have been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry for over 30 years. That's right, 30 years of taking care of customers right here in the state of South Carolina. Whether it's your home or your business, Mid-State Roofing is there to provide you relief from those nasty leaks that appear and you don't know when they're coming. That's right, because you don't know when they're coming, you know what Mid-State Roofing does? They're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's right. You give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. Call them. If it's after hours, if it's off work, guess what? Mid-State Roofing is there to take care of you. That's right. What they're going to do is be there with an on-call technician to help you with a maintenance contract. If it's during hours, you'll speak with a Mid-State Roofing employee. 803-356-1919. Tell Mid-State Roofing Bill Gunner sent you. We do a lot of Christmas stuff kind of in the later hours. Again, we've got kind of a naughty or nice sports figures list. We'll look back, given this is Tyler's final show of the year, we'll look back on things in sports we were most wrong about, excuse me, for the year. We'll discuss that. And again, we'll get into that movie topic. You got to watch. That'll be actually evergreen. We'll do that all through the show. You got to watch one movie for 48 straight hours. Now, y'all have heard of the Christmas Story 24-hour marathon, and yes, I'll be fully involved in that. But you got to watch one movie: Elf, Vacation, Christmas Story, Home Alone. What was the other one? Life on. Producer Ed, in my ear. I know you gotta whisper in my ear. But what's the a miracle? A miracle. I got it. A Miracle on 34th Street. It was a miracle that I got that. But A Miracle on 34th Street. It's a Wonderful Life. Sorry. I'm sorry. I meant whisper Christmas movies in my, not Die Hard.
It is, but I don't like it.
Okay. Producer Ed says it is, but he doesn't like it.
It's popular.
Get this out of the way before I.
Okay. All right.
Before
a few years back.
Before I go to, we're going to do some Shane Beamer here in this segment.
Sure.
Before we go to Shane Beamer here and discuss yesterday, Die Hard, yes or no? Christmas movie.
I think so.
And the wife doesn't.
The wife respects it as a movie that takes place at Christmas, but I like to consider it a Christmas movie.
Is that
personally?
Just so we know, because I feel like this causes strain in relationships when one side takes one and the other side takes another. How's the Head family handling this new break? Because you said, I think this month, there's 18 days so far into the month. I think you said this month is the first time she's watched it.
Yeah, she'd never watched it before. It had been the first time I'd seen it in a couple of years, but she'd heard about it, and again, I forgot it was a 2.5-hour movie before we watched it, but she enjoyed it, and so she's a fan of Harry Potter and stuff, as we both are, but she's a bigger fan than I am. So I was like, well, if Alan Rickman plays the bad guy, and it's going to be funny to see him doing his German accent, which she enjoyed, but she wouldn't quantify it as a straight-up Christmas movie. And I believe I also saw Macaulay Culkin also said it wasn't a Christmas movie on some podcast at some point in the past day or so.
Oh.
So is he the authority on what makes something a Christmas movie?
No.
No? All right.
And I was asked, somebody asked me the other day, who was it, you or was it producer Ed? I can't remember, or somebody else outside the studio said, who would you rather be, John McClane or
Kevin McAllister.
Kevin
Yeah, because
McAllister.
I asked Jack that the other day.
Okay.
And
I think you asked me, yeah.
yeah, he went with Kevin McAllister. Now, you're not going to get hurt as much as Kevin McAllister because he doesn't really take damage in Home Alone. He's like slips a couple times, but like John McClane also gets hurt a lot, but still wins in the end.
Yeah. So you got the big buff, good guy, and you got the little kid who's running around the house.
But very similar in a lot of ways. Crafty. Using their resources to thwart bad guys at a holiday time.
Good point. Good point. All
Home
right.
Alone is just Die Hard for kids, if we're being honest.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
There's my hot take for the day.
That's a good one. Home Alone is Die Hard for kids. This is why we're one of the favorite programs ever. They say a big, beautiful radio program that we are. Maybe one of the best ever, and it's because that's a good take. I like that.
I'll stand on that.
Okay, there you go. Get
I'll
that.
stand
out
on
there.
that business.
Get that. Put that on there. Tyler Head says Home Alone. I have to put that on Twitter. Tyler Head says Home Alone is just Die Hard for kids. I like that. Jim weighs in and says Bruce Willis said it's not a Christmas movie. It's a Bruce Willis movie. I got an ego.
Why can't they be both?
I got an ego, and even I'm like, wow, solid.
We can have a Venn diagram here of things overlapping. It's okay.
Jacob weighs in 48 hours of a Christmas movie. You got to watch. You get some popcorn and you get 6 bathroom breaks. Jacob goes with Office Christmas Party or Bad Santa.
Both really good ones. Those are solid options. Bad Santa, yeah, I try and work that in at least once a year.
Another texter weighs in with It's a Wonderful Life. That's
which you can quite literally do because what TBS plays it on a loop, that and the Christmas Story, days at a time.
Do they play It's a Wonderful Life on a loop?
I feel like they do.
Okay.
Maybe it's just Christmas. I know Christmas Story does for like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It's just nothing but that movie over and over. So you quite literally can test this theory if you want.
I do that actually. I'll pretty much have it on. I can't tell anybody that of the 24 hours, but the 12 airings that I'll actually watch from start to finish one particular day. But
Because you've seen it a million times. You know what happens.
right, but
you can pop in at any time.
I pop in. I know exactly where we're at. I can recite the lines. I'm good to go.
Okay, here comes the kid getting his tongue stuck to the pole. All right, cool.
Well, I'm good with it. I feel good about it. Mike weighs in with Die Hard. Another texter weighs in with Bad Santa. So there you go.
I have one that I think nobody would put in here.
Okay.
Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn and Reese
It's growing
Witherspoon.
on me.
That is one of my
It
favorites.
feels like.
Ed Bird agrees with me.
Okay. It feels like that there's a portion of me that feels like this is being shoved down my throat to be the next like post movie release of a big Christmas movie. Because I feel like I'm seeing Four Christmases more and more and more with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, for those
Listen,
of you.
I've been trumpeting this for years. I feel like I'm partially responsible for why it's getting popular.
It's got a cast.
Yeah.
It's got a cast.
Great cast.
It's got a great cast.
John Voight.
John Voight.
Dwight Yoakam. The mom from all the Will Ferrell movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of her name. I don't know her name.
I forget.
But, yeah, and then you left one other one out. Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau, yeah.
Favreau.
Yep.
He's in it. So yeah. Tony.
Was it Toby Keith? No.
I don't remember him in it, but he might have been. And then Favreau's the brother.
Yeah, because they're cage fighters.
He's the cage fighter. And then who is the dad in that?
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
Again.
Great cast. Phenomenal cast.
Yeah, it's worth it. It'll grow. It'll grow on you a little bit. 803-404-6100. Oh, now y'all want to weigh in. Talk sports. No, nobody cares. Talk movies. Everybody's in. Tony and Gilbert goes with next Friday. Is that the next Friday? I know what he's talking about. That's when the Santa's running around robbing everybody, and
That was Friday after next.
one of the three, which, by the way, I liked all of them in college. So the night before, and I got 2 votes for this. The night before was Seth Rogen. And another person weighed in and said the night before was Seth Rogen's my favorite.
I think
Never hear it on anyone else's list. But we got 2 of y'all who are in with the night before.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that
I have to
before.
look and see what I can find on that. 803-404-6100. Another texter goes with Lethal Weapon. More of a Christmas adjacent movie, but still in the holiday mix. Chase goes with The Christmas Story, gives off some kind of nostalgia from a time I didn't even live in the 40s. So I'm with you on that.
Was it set in the 40s or the 50s? I think it was set in the 50s.
I kind of go with him. I think it's supposedly set in the 40s. Let's see. Let's look this up. Live radio. It's absolute fine. We'll do Shane Beamer in the next segment. We've lost this segment. Segment's gone to the birds. Let's see here. Number 1, do you know when A Christmas Story was released? What year? I give you a hint.
So in the 80s, right?
It was when I was alive.
Okay.
I was born.
It's like 89, 88, 89?
Keep going back.
86?
We're all wrong, by the way. Christmas Story is 1930s.
Oh, okay. Wow. I was way off on that.
1930. This is per Wikipedia, by the way.
So it must be true.
Christmas Story was released in 1983.
Okay. Wow.
1983. I was looking to see if there's an actual date that it came out, but there you go.
Okay, I learned something.
All right. Sorry, I teased you all for Shane Beamer. We'll do it in the next segment. Some things he had to say yesterday. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Tyler Head, producer Ed Bird. It is the Halftime Show.
All right, welcome back in. It is the halftime show. Tyler Head and Bill Gunner. Captain Ed Bird along with you here as we are putting a bow on 2025 and starting to look ahead to 2026 as well. And obviously we're going to focus a lot on football, especially as we turn to the transfer portal starting at the beginning of the year, because again, the calendar is shifted to where the portal opens up on January the 2nd. But a lot of excitement for the Kendall Briles offense and what he's going to bring to South Carolina, and hopefully getting quarterback Lenore Sellers back on track as well. And Ed Bird, we'll go with cut number 3 here. This is Coach Beamer yesterday on the postgame show with Jay and Terry talking about Briles' history with quarterbacks that hopefully will translate to success here at South Carolina.
From a Kendall standpoint, he was a sitting offensive coordinator. He has done it with multiple quarterbacks, whether it be Robert Griffin III at Baylor or whether it be Josh Hoover, the young man they had out at TCU this past season. Different styles of quarterbacks. But then I also got to see him up close and personal a few years ago when we went out to Arkansas and played him, and he had K.J. Jefferson as their quarterback, and Rocket Sanders was the running back, and being able to see what he did with that. So that's what excited me about Kendall, was just proven coordinator, college level, done it with multiple style quarterbacks, could tweak the system to whatever his personnel was. And then probably the biggest thing too, once I got past all that, is I didn't really know him at all, and had a chance to, talk to him on the phone a few times. And I remember getting off the phone the first time with my wife and just telling her, like, man, like, we just really clicked. Like, I really like him. And then I started talking to him, and then got to know he and his wife, and they came in for a visit one night and got to meet her, and realized that this is would be a great addition to our program from a football standpoint, but then just personnel as a staff guy personally.
Look, we've been talking about it for 2 weeks now. Exciting hire. We saw what he did at TCU in his prior stops and what he's hopefully going to bring to the table here at South Carolina. And that quarterback development process is a big part of it. And again, you heard Beamer made mention to it there. KJ Jefferson is the most apt comparison we have to what Lenore Sellers can be within those Briles offense. And that guy was really, really good. Now, yes, he was also helped out by a very good running game with a back like Sanders. So that's something you're going to need to make sure you have as well. But, you're hoping that Kendall Briles is able to undo all the things that Mike Shula unfortunately did to Sellers this past offseason and help that aided in him regressing this past year.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. One of the big things will be the portal needs. You're talking about it, putting a few more players, put a few more pieces. Most importantly, we talked about it, running back.
Yep.
Here he is, Shane Beamer, yesterday with Jay and Terry talking about the transfer portal needs. Longer cut, but let's listen to it about 2.5 minutes. But here is Shane Beamer yesterday talking about the transfer portal needs of the Gamecocks.
There's certainly other positions. It kind of goes back, Jay, to where, like, I'm like every coach where when you had 85 scholarships, now that's getting ready to grow, so that'll tweak or change the number of scholarships that we can bring into our program. But when you had 85 scholarships, you always had a target number of players at each position that you wanted to have on scholarship. So, for example, our number based off having 85 total scholarships is we wanted to have 17 offensive linemen on scholarship at all times. We've always wanted to have 5 running backs on scholarship at all times. And when you were based off 85, and when you look at our roster right now, there's positions, running back, offensive line, where we are certainly under those numbers. So in order to not just compete and win games, but to be able to function in practice, we've got to be able to bring in bodies and players that can help us compete for championships here. So certainly the offensive line, from a depth standpoint, we've got to increase the competition there. With Brandon Cisse and Jalen Kilgore deciding to go on to the NFL, that's a aspect of it that maybe you didn't plan on. You knew it was a possibility, but now it is a reality. So you've got to be able to add depth in the secondary. And then definitely from a running back standpoint, I mean, we only have, it is what it is, and it's unfortunate, but we have not signed a high school running back in 2 years. And that can't happen. And because of that, we're now in a situation where we literally have 3 running backs in our entire program on scholarship. And that's tough. So we need to go out and find some guys to increase the competition and add to the depth in that room. But the positive aspect of it is those 3 scholarship running backs that we have, I think, are really, really good SEC running backs that we're fired up about. Matthew Fuller, Jawarn Howell, and Isaiah Augustave, who transferred in over the summer. So I don't think we need to go out and just, bring in some dynamic starter. I know we don't. Would that be nice if he wanted to come relatively cheap? Yeah. But do we need to go out and spend a ton of money to go get a dude at running back necessarily? I don't feel that way, because I feel like we have, quote unquote, some dudes already in that room.
What do you think about that?
Well, he's not wrong. If he wants to come, great, but it's not going to happen. You better have the resources and the numbers to match other offers if you're going to get somebody high profile.
Look, you go to this transfer portal, and if the number 1 running back in the transfer portal becomes an opportunity and you got to pay $3 million or $2.5 million, I don't know South Carolina's financial aspect of this or where they stand. I can only do my personal budget at my house, paying everything. If you get the money, man, you get an elite running back.
If it's available to you, you got somebody that wants to come. Yeah.
You don't balk at the money in this situation, because running back's a big part of this.
You're in desperate need. As he said, you only have 3. You need at least 5.
That's so ridiculous. They hadn't signed a running back in 2 years. Just
crazy. Well, that's why we have a new running back coach.
Inexcusable, as he said. All right, hour 2 on the way.
It's all right here for our friends over at Pro Swing Columbia. We are 1 week away from Christmas. If you need a last-minute gift or just a stocking stuffer, how about a Pro Swing gift card? They've got those for anybody in your life that enjoys golf, or maybe somebody wants to learn to play golf or just have a good time at a cool place like Pro Swing. They got those golf zone simulators that allow you to play quite literally all over the world on different courses in a climate-controlled environment that is truly second to none. And while you're there, if you want to improve on your golf game, they also offer free 30-minute swing evaluations to make you a better golfer. They have club fittings and are a tailor-made dealer as well. So if you're looking for a last-minute gift for that golfer in your life, for like a club or something like that, they can help you out there too. Go online to book at ProSwingColumbia.com or give them a call at 803-592-3916 for more information. Pro Swing Columbia in Forest Acres and in Chapin.
It is 1 o'clock on your Thursday, or as Tyler's calling it, his final day of the year.
See, now I get the whole Thursday as the weekend thing. I feel that today.
You feeling it? Yeah.
I feel it today. Yeah.
And I'll be quite honest. When you do early morning sports talk for 10 years, you kind of like, I can get through that.
Right.
6 to 9, I can get through that.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately for both of us, sometimes taking days off is not for fun and kicking your feet up. I do actually have to be in Atlanta for an appointment tomorrow. So it's not a day of kicking my feet up and doing nothing. I'll try and do that over the holidays. But yeah, actually, I have an actual thing I have to do tomorrow as my reason for not being here.
No, I understand. Trust me. Well, both of us understand, but I get it more than I would have back pre-August.
Here's for better health in 2026. How about that? I think this whole station could use that.
Amen. I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. 803-404-6100. To kind of catch you up on stuff here from what we discussed in hour number one. The previous segment, we heard a little bit from Shane Beamer. And to kind of cap that back off, we talked about the transfer portal needs. You've played a little bit of him talking about Lenore Sellers as well. It's been a great December. It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. I'll be point blank clear about that. Having a great December is only great if you're in the college football playoff, right?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. But the one thing it's done, I think, is energized a little bit of the fan base. Even if you're now like, well, I'll at least take a wait-and-see approach, I think your humbugness is up a slight level from, get him out of here. It
is about as good as it possibly could be given all the other circumstances. And I mentioned this at the top of the show, because the Clemson game was on November 30th. So boom, the next day it's December 1st. And when we came in here on that Monday, that was probably the lowest we had been the entire year with Gamecock football, because you wrapped up 4-8 season, you lost to your rival in, again, just heartbreaking fashion there at the very end. And I wouldn't have believed you if I told you 3 weeks later we'd be sitting here saying, you know what, I feel pretty good about what's happened in the days since. But you signed your class, flipped a big player in Julian Walker that's right here in your backyard, made a splashy hire at the offensive coordinator spot. All indications are that Lenore Sellers is going to come back. We feel good about where Harbor and Stewart are as right now. I don't really know what else you could have asked for in these past 3 weeks.
No, I'm with you. I mean, it was November 29th, November 30th was a Sunday.
All right.
On November 30th, if you just said, well, did they hold on to the recruiting class? I said, no, there's going to be 2 or 3 defections. And given that of the 15, all of them are pretty important pieces, I'd be like, that's going to sting a little bit. Well, what are the odds of Sellers, Harbor, and Stewart returning? Okay, I think they'll get one. I'm not sure who, but I think they'll get one. I definitely didn't think at that moment they were getting Sellers. Quite frankly, I probably would have said 0 for 3, because as I say it out loud and not just thinking about it, I was pretty certain Sellers was gone. I felt pretty confident, but he didn't speak quite as much. We didn't hear from him post-Clemson game with Dylan Stewart. And then Nick Harbor was already drawing up some numbers on mock drafts and things of that nature, to the point that I was like, yeah, I'd have gone 0-3 on that. So to get 3 out of 3, to hold your recruiting class, to get 3 out of 3, and then you were like, all right, well, what is the offensive coordinator move going to be? I'd be like, they'll get somebody. Well, they didn't get somebody. They got really the guy. And I say that because not only did you get a guy who has been successful, when you talk about offensive coordinators, you got the one guy who actually maybe has the name that those that don't pay attention, like, oh, I like that. That's a good hire. Like that winning the fan base is a small level to this, and he did that.
Out of all the possibilities of the names, John David Baker, all those guys that were rumored to be in the conversation about taking this job, I think Kendall Briles is the one that would have been met with the most positivity. For one, it is a college-specific offense. He's got the name, like you mentioned, Briles. Everybody knows him. Again, Briles are known for other reasons other than football, but again, we talked about that when he was hired the other week. But yeah, I can't think of any other hire, because if you hire John David Baker, right, you can look at his numbers, but that's not something that jumps off the page to the casual Gamecock fan, because they don't know who that is more often than not. But Briles is a name that you know. Briles is somebody that when Dow Loggins got hired 3 years ago, people were like, oh, you hired the wrong guy from Arkansas. No, go get the play caller, not the guy that was a tight ends coach. So it's a name that's been around and in the minds of Gamecock fans for several years. Now you got him, and again, all indications are that this should be something that hopefully is successful. So they're going to go out there and do it, obviously, but we have 9 months of feeling good about the hire that was made while we wait for the results to happen on the field.
So all of that goes well. Now, again, let's be honest about this. Come June or July, all of you bah humbuggers out there are going to start to come around a little bit.
The wound is still fresh from the season.
Right.
That's why.
You're going to, and I'm not saying that you're going to be like all in. That's not what I mean by that. What I mean is, like, when we get to summertime and the sun's out, now you're spending time at the beach or the lake, you're already happier, right? You're a little bit happier to begin with. As you just said, the wound is healed a little bit, and you're going to be like, all right, I'm ready to be hurt again. Let's just gear up all right, let me start gearing up. Let me buy my Phil Steele and my Athlon. And
What media is in Tampa next year, right?
yes.
When Beamer gets up there at media days, whatever day he ends up speaking and talks about the hires that he made, whatever they get in the portal and all that kind of stuff, you're going to come away from that saying, all right, let's do this. Let's
Well,
go.
that's what I'm
This is the time is now, right? That's where everybody's going to be feeling.
There's a battery level. Imagine it being it's at close to E right now, and it'll be close to full by August. By August, you're going to be like, all right. Even if you're the one saying, like me, who's like, show me, make me believe again. By August, you're going to be like, I believe again, and here I am ready to get hurt.
You could be in a position as well. Again, basketball's got to really turn things around, but you could deal with another less than thrilling men's basketball season. I have no clue what to expect out of baseball. So you could have the two men's sports to start the year not give you great seasons to where you're like, please, anything, please, somebody give me something to be excited about.
Let me ask you this. Everybody's unhappy with those sports already. If they have bad seasons and we have to go through a coaching search, does the new hope of a brand new coach, whomever it is, does it propel you into a little bit more energy for...
Maybe. That's possible.
Just thinking out loud. Just throwing it out. I'm trying to be positive here around Christmas.
And again, we're not guaranteeing that anybody's going to get fired or anything like that. But, all three of the men's sports that we talked about are in very much prove-it years, where if you're not giving solid results, there can be moves made.
All right. So let's transition here for a second and discuss something that I brought up on one of our year-end specials that we're doing that y'all will get to hear next week. And it ended up being a conversation with Jack Veltri that I had this in. And I want to ask you this. So let's transition. There's a little bit of football discussion. Let's transition to basketball a little bit. They lose 68-61 on Tuesday night. They're now 7-4. Don't play again until after Christmas. I am now looking at the schedule and the record, and I'm thinking best case scenario is 6-12 in the SEC.
Okay.
Now, if you go 6-12 in the SEC, I don't think the league is as difficult. I think it's still a very good league. I'm not trying to put the league down at all, but I think it's right now. I'll have to go back to Ken Palm or RPI and see if it's still holding steady as we sit here on Thursday. They might have moved back ahead of the ACC because Tennessee whipped Louisville. If you're 6-12 in the SEC and you win, you beat Albany and South Carolina State, that puts you at 15-16 for the regular season.
Right.
How does Tyler Head feel about that with the future in Lamont Paris? Like, by the way, I feel like that is the baseline. That is now we're into judging season.
Can you tell me who those 5 wins are in conference play, or 6 wins, excuse me? If you tell me who those 6 wins are, I feel like I can give you a better indication of how I'm going to feel about that record-wise.
No, I mean just 6 wins.
Yeah, because I do think that who the opponents are does matter, and how you play in those other games. Because again, if you're getting blown out in those 12 games, then I'd say no. But if you're competitive and losing tight games to where you can say, okay, you're maybe only like one piece away from really getting this thing figured out again, I think there's reason for optimism. But if you're not even close in any of those games, because again, in the 4 games you've lost so far, you've never been out of any of them. I mean, even the other night, it was it tied the Butler game for the largest margin of a loss that you've had so far. But again, you're still in it down there to the last couple of minutes, so it's not like you're getting blown out. It'd be a point of conversation. I can't guarantee one way or the other of what would happen. Again, I think you need to at least be in the bubble-ish conversation to feel super safe on things going into next year. Because, again, we don't know how good the league's going to be, but it's definitely trending towards not being as good as it was a season ago. But, yeah, 15-16 and 6 wins in conference. Don't know who they're against. I don't know. I can't commit one way or the other on that.
Okay. I think that's what I think as we, again, we'll wrap up tomorrow. I'll be here. We'll have Chris Deering on and Brian Edwards. But after that, we'll be off for 2 weeks. So as we kind of wrap up do our year-end stuff for 2025, I'll ask you that going into 2026, is 6-12 and 15-16 overall good enough? Because, again, they will likely finish non-conference 9-4. If you go 6-12 in conference, that puts you at 15-16. And I'll even throw a caveat into you. They win the first round of the SEC tournament.
Oh, okay.
Now you're 16-16, but then you lose the next one, so you're 16-17.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Think about it.
It's a good thought. It's a good thought. And we're going to live the reality of it one way or the other coming up in January through February.
South Carolina still holding steady at 86 in the Ken Palm rankings. I'm going back trying to search for the conference rankings. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. When we come back, we'll transition our naughty and nice list for 2025. Who are the players, the coaches, the sports figures on the naughty or nice list in 2025? We'll give you those. You're listening to the Halftime Show. 117 on your Thursday reminder. Well, correction. I'm sorry. This isn't a reminder. This is a straight correction. I said South Carolina plays both of their games after Christmas. Thank you to Steven for reminding me. Actually, the South Carolina State game is next Monday, the 22nd.
Correct.
I have completely checked out myself. But and to lead that and to lead into that, guys and girls, well, we're feeling generous here at the end of the year. Why wouldn't we? It's Christmas season. So what you can do is stay tuned each and every day. That's right. A generous way of making you listen to us. And we will be giving away tickets to one lucky winner for the rest of the men's basketball and women's basketball season starting in January. So when we come back in January, you're going to want to listen consistently, and we will be giving away to one lucky winner for the rest of the season. So season tickets to men's basketball and women's basketball.
Sounds great. Stay tuned.
So you can do a lot of things with the women's tickets. Men's tickets, you can figure it out. 803-404-6100. All right, I'm learning, Tyler, as I get older, just how much 1 year can change you. I'm learning how much the evolution of your life, and I'm not just speaking from me, because I got some names here, more so for the naughty list. I think the nice list, you got like, well, hey, kudos to those people. But for the naughty list, who started 2025 in a good spot, and as we're wrapping up, maybe they're unemployed. Maybe some of them are in jail. I don't know. But let's go with our 2025 sports naughty or nice list. Which list do you want to go with first, nice or naughty?
All right, I have 4 of each.
Okay.
How many do you have?
I had
Okay.
3.
Do you want to kind of go back and forth here?
I'll let you go first, but what direction do you want to go?
Let's start nice. Let's go with the people that had good years and are deserving of something nice for Christmas.
Okay.
So I'll start off with Fernando Mendoza. For one, he just seems like a good person, right? Seems like a good dude. Phenomenal year, obviously. Nobody would have expected a Indiana quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy, much less than be the number 1 seed to win or going into the college ball playoff. But just you can't hate the dude, right? All right, maybe for a Purdue fan, you hate him because he plays for Indiana, but legitimately seems like a good dude and obviously a great football player. So he's on my nice list.
Okay. All right. I actually, and now that I think about it, as I'm writing stuff down very quickly, I probably would have gone with Kirk Cignetti, but I left Kirk Cignetti off the list because Kirk Cignetti has a little way of rubbing people the wrong way.
He does.
He had a little bit of a bout of SEC-itis there during the summer. I actually went number 1 on my list because his team was incredible. He got an extension and a pay raise. He signed a 5-star quarterback, Clark Lee.
Okay, fair.
And I think Clark Lee is not controversial.
No, he's not. And I respected the heck out of what he said when they missed the playoff. Hey, we should have won more games.
Yep.
We're going to go play this bowl game now. There was no, well, they don't like us, they don't respect us. He was like, hey, we had our opportunities, didn't capitalize on those opportunities. We're excited to go play the next game. That's exactly the answer you want out of your coach.
Okay. All right. Who you got there behind that?
Number 2, Lee Corso. Lost in what this chaotic football season has been. We did say goodbye to Lee Corso from the game day perspective back in week number 1. I thought they did that incredibly well. Whole show was done well. The whole stadium set up for him to give his final headgear pick ahead of Ohio State and Texas. Just incredibly well done. Of course, my entire life and most of your life, he's been a fixture on College Game Day. We've gotten used to the show without him, and I'd say the show's still really good. I still very much enjoy it, but he's obviously that lovable grandpa that we've had for so many years. Unfortunately, not going to be on TV anymore. Hopefully, the health stays in good shape to where he's around for a very, very long time, but Lee Corso always going to be on the nice list for me.
Okay. All right. I will stay with the college football. I put 2 college football people on there. Now, I want you to remember what 2024 was at the very end. Because the transition of 2024 to 2025 for this particular coach, phenomenal. Right?
Yes.
At the end of 2024, Ohio State fans were ready to burn the house down of Ryan Day. We weren't sure that there was people who thought if Ryan Day didn't win the national championship, he was fired.
And it very well could have happened.
His seat was scorching hot. And again, I say this because if you remember at the end of November in 2024, he loses to Michigan. And that's not tolerated in Columbus, Ohio.
For the 4th year at that point.
Fast forward to the whole year of 2025. I know they lost to Indiana recently, but who cares? Not only do you win the national championship, you go undefeated in the regular season, and you beat Michigan. Ryan Day, definitely on the nice list for 2025.
Is Santa going to bring him more just for men? Now, he's denied using it.
Plenty of it.
Plenty of it.
Oh, that's stockings and boxes of it galore, and some kind of maybe, all kinds of stuff for him.
All right, my number 3 will go outside college football. Now, Cal Raleigh, the big dumper himself. For
Okay.
The incredible year that he had. Again, Seattle's a team that you probably don't get to watch a whole lot because they're on the West Coast, play late games and all that kind of stuff. But a catcher going on a run of hitting 60-plus home runs, incredible. Obviously, they came up short of their ultimate goal of making the World Series, but fun guy to watch when you got the opportunity to see him. Seems like a good dude. And again, a catcher having that kind of success is such a rare thing. I wanted him to win the MVP. I understand why he didn't, but man, that was such a cool story to follow in the later half of the Major League Baseball season.
Okay, I'll stay. I had one baseball one. I had one in MLB. Now, this is not anybody one specific. I think I was a winner. I think I was on the nice list. I think if you were watching along, I think you were on the nice list.
Thank you.
I think the team was on the nice list. How about the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Okay.
All right. Back-to-back World Championships now. The World Series was phenomenal. I felt like that series against the Blue Jays was phenomenal. I probably would have given that nice list award to the Blue Jays if they'd have won it, and I probably would have preferred to give it to them.
Yeah.
I debated whether I could do, but I had 3, but I now have 4. I've got a 4th for you. Clark Lee 1, Ryan Day 2, but I had the Dodgers at 3 on my nice list.
We talked about this when the postseason was going on. Like, the brand of the Dodgers is something that I think a majority of people dislike, but you look at the personalities on the team.
Yeah.
Freddie, Mookie, Shohei, Clayton Kershaw in his final year. You're like, I like all these dudes. You know, I don't have a reason to hate any of these guys. Like, if they had a Bryce Harper, sure. You can be like, all right, I don't like that dude. Don't like the way he carries himself or whatever. But, like, it seems like a team of good dudes that
They're hard to pull against.
They're hard to pull against from a personal standpoint, and they're good. I mean, are we on the cusp of the dynasty of baseball for the next handful of years? Maybe so. Back to back, you know. But I can get behind them on the nice list. My final one be a crew of people, much like the Dodgers, inside the NBA. As they made their transition from TNT to ESPN, we were all worried, oh, man, ESPN's going to get their hands on Inside the NBA. They're going to ruin it. But for what I've watched so far, seems like the exact same show, just on different networks. So props to those guys for staying true to themselves and not falling to the ESPN standards of what shows have become.
Okay. All right. And then I went through a couple different one of these, but I decided to give it to college baseball, but I gave it to a program here in the state. It's kind of easy to figure out. If you want to go, I didn't want to do 4 and 5, but Kevin Schnall and Coastal Carolina. Incredible run last year in college baseball. Definitely on the naughty list. I've bounced back between Kevin Schnall, who will be joining us, by the way. He's going to start joining us in January, and we'll have him on
Very cool.
a good bit. But I look forward to talking to him again. Incredible year for him, but also the fact that it appears he turned down Tennessee. So Coastal wins as well. They're on the nice list, and they're poised to make another run. They've got a very solid program. So also on my nice list this year, Kevin Schnall and Coastal Carolina. Didn't win the championship. LSU was really good. That happens. But really cool to watch that run and be a part of it and join in with them.
A fun story. In today's world of, college sports where the big names, the big brands tend to have more of the resources and stuff like that, very cool to see a program like Coastal, get up there and fight with the big dogs and get all the way to the end. And they're a team or a program that could position themselves, considering the fact that they don't have as many resources to pour into the other sports. They maybe lean into baseball a little bit more and continue to have that be one of your best programs, one of the best in the country.
I mean, they're the last team in state to win a national championship. Quite frankly, no other team in the state has been in the College World Series. South Carolina's been there multiple times. The way Coastal's playing right now, they are conceivably the best team in the state, so I agree with you. They're a national power, if you will, maybe more so than the Tigers and the Gamecocks. 803-404-6200. All right, those are our nice list. I have Clark Lee, 10 wins, sign a 5-star quarterback, make a lot of extra money. Not controversial, seems well-liked by the national media and the public, unlike his current quarterback. He was number 1, Ryan Day. What a 2025. You go from basically packing your bags, even though you were good, to winning a national championship, to going undefeated in the regular season, beating Michigan. They are still the Vegas favorite to win the college football playoff. What a year for him. He's on the nice list. I mentioned the Los Angeles Dodgers, back-to-back World Series, and as you mentioned, that's part of it. The cast of characters is actually hard to dislike.
If you took all those guys and put them on, what's an inoffensive team to most people in baseball? If you put
Brewers,
them on
I'd go Brewers.
The Brewers, the Tigers, we'd be like, oh my God, that's my favorite team. But
Yeah.
that Dodgers brand holds some people
I'm
at
with
bay,
you.
but the guys themselves seem like good dudes.
And then I said Kevin Schnall, Coastal. Repeat yours?
I had Fernando Mendoza, obviously great season. Seems like just like a genuinely good dude. Lee Corso, great send-off. Again, hopefully he's around for a long time, and we appreciate what he did for college football for so many decades. Cal Raleigh, incredible year, record number of home runs for a catcher, had a good shot at winning the MVP. Didn't get there. And inside the NBA for staying true to themselves despite going over to ESPN.
All right, there's that. We'll come back. We'll do our naughty list. This one was pretty easy to do. And I was able to almost do it full of college football coaches. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the Halftime Show. Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder, and First Palmetto Bank. All right, 2026 is just right around the corner. Now, I know you're finishing up Christmas shopping, worried about a lot of different things, but one of the things you might start to be doing is keeping an eye on the interest rates and what the market is doing in terms of maybe buying a house, building a home. What options do you have there? Maybe you're thinking about refinancing your current home or even remodeling, and you need to get a loan. Well, guess what? The guy for all of that, Jacob Crowder and First Palmetto Bank. You heard that right. So all you need to do to start is give him a phone call and just get the figures, get the numbers, know what you're paying out. That way you can make an informed decision. 803-719-1005. Again, that's 803-719-1005. Call Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank today. Get the numbers you need to know so you are informed. And tell him Bill Gunner sent you. 1:34 on a Thursday. We'll get into our naughty list here in just a minute, but some serious news, serious discussion very quickly. We are monitoring. Tyler's monitoring over here. We're kind of waiting to get more concrete news on what has happened. But Tyler, it appears there has been a plane crash with NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, who is most well known for flying rescue missions in Hurricane Helene. Anything you can share? We don't, again, have much news to share that we can confirm. We don't like to come on air and start going, oh, this happened, that happened. We don't.
Yeah, so the facts are there was a plane out of Statesville, North Carolina, that he owned that did crash earlier on this morning. And again, with plane crashes, it takes a while to get information about who's on the plane and all that kind of stuff. So we don't know for sure. They did have a press conference about an hour ago, but obviously didn't give names or anything like that. So we don't want to speculate anything right now. It was a plane owned by him, and to our knowledge, there's nobody that has acknowledged any contact with him since that happened. So again, you obviously fear the worst on that, but we don't have anything confirmed for sure of if him and his family or anybody like that were on the plane. So still monitoring that and hopefully get some good news on that here soon, but that's all we know as of right now.
All right. When we get information that we're comfortable saying on air, we will keep you updated on that, but certainly looking like a very tragic situation there. 803-404-6100. All right. So our nice list, we left one off. I'll say this. Somebody hit me up. Yeah, Asia Wilson probably should be on the nice list. She just continues.
Okay, that's fair.
I think I take her for granted. I think we all take her for granted now.
It's almost just assumed, right?
Yeah. So put her on the list, both of our lists as well. Asia
totally
should
fair.
be there.
Totally fair.
All right, let's go to the more fun list.
All right.
The naughty list. Let's start with you. Who do you got?
Okay. I think we're going to agree on this one because he had a lot of coaches. It's got to be Lane Kiffin, right? Like this whole, and maybe we were all blinded by it. Like, oh, man, he's finally changed. We watched the E60 thing. Man, Lane loves it, and his family's in Oxford. And you know what? The guy that left Tennessee and the guy that got tarmacked at Southern Cal, the guy that Saban wouldn't let coach in the playoff, like that dude's in the past. He's gone. This is a new leaf, a new Kiffin. He's doing hot yoga. He's turned himself around, and then, a month ago, he strings Ole Miss along and leaves them high and dry and, goes to LSU.
Did you know he was sending his family on trips to Baton Rouge and Gainesville to look at the town and the facilities and all that?
Before he took the job,
right?
Yeah, I remember seeing stuff about that. And it was like it wasn't confirmed if he was there or not. But like again, his wife, his kids, and all that, at least like scoping it out. Which at the time I was like, if I was a coach that was as sought after as him, I could look at my family and say, hey, you guys want an all expense paid trip to Baton Rouge for a weekend to, go screw around the city or whatever? Here you go. Like, I didn't know if that meant anything at that point in time. Obviously it did. But yeah, I remember when that happened before he took the job.
Okay. All right.
He's on your list as well?
He is.
Okay. I think we're probably also going to agree on number 2 for me. How about Diego Pavia?
Don't have him on my list.
You don't have him on your list. Okay. No. And look, I enjoyed watching Pavia play. I respect somebody that's very confident in themselves because we need more personalities in sports in general, but especially college football. I don't think his handling of the Heisman fallout was done very well. Again, there's a respectful way to lose, and I don't think he did that very well.
I could have gone all college football. It would have been easy, but I had to put the 2 main villains, naughty list people in there, and that would be Sharon Moore. So I'll go ahead. I don't know if he's on your list or not.
But by the way, I know I think we all got duped by AI a week ago. His official mugshot is now out.
Okay.
So the thing that made rounds on Wednesday was not real, and I was concerned it wasn't. His actual mugshot is on Twitter if you want to find it.
Okay. All right. So I go Sharon Moore for obvious reasons. So you so far have got Lane Kiffin.
Yep.
You went Pavia. I got Lane Kiffin and Sharon Moore. Who you got third there?
All right. We're going to go outside of college football. You mentioned Coastal Carolina. How about Angel Campos?
Okay.
The umpire of the World Series.
Oh,
he was behind the plate.
That's a good one. That's a great one.
He was behind the plate in game number 2 in the first inning when he tossed Kevin Schnall. Now, again, if Kevin Schnall stays, does Coastal win? Probably not, because LSU was really good. They had already won game number 1. But, dude, it is the College World Series, and Kevin Schnall's case that he was making was very legitimate at that point. and you run him in the first inning. What are we doing? For a guy that had already been fired in the major leagues for being too thin-skinned with managers arguing with him, get out of here, man. You're on the naughty list forever.
Very good one. Very, very good. Very good one. Go ahead with your fourth there.
My fourth, you remember the Phillies Karen? The lady that took the baseball from the kid that went viral. She had the weird haircut or whatever.
You did some deep digging. I like these
Karen is on the naughty list.
Okay, good one. Phillies Karen and Angel Campos. I'd forgot about those. Those are to make mine now kind of embarrassed or maybe I got a little bit too serious with this. By the way, I don't have it written down on now that we're doing this segment, I don't have it written down, but I've got a fifth that we may have to keep an eye on for the 2026 naughty list.
Okay.
I'll bring that back to your attention in a second. Number 3 on my list, or there was just number 3 I get to, Mark Sanchez.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Oof.
Come on, Mark. Like, if you don't know the exact background story at Sanchez,
Oof.
I don't know if I ever really saw a true detail of what exactly he was on, but we know it was alcohol.
Yes.
And then what else might have been involved behind that? He was arrested for being stabbed or doing some stabbing, being stabbed, a whole thing of things, and arrested on felony battery charges after he attacked a 69-year-old truck driver. He will be facing trial coming up in March of 2026.
So I didn't realize, and I'm one of those people when I'm watching TV shows or movies, I always like Google the cast just to like read up on them. I didn't realize that was his wife in Chad Powers that plays the assistant coach, daughter of the head coach of South Georgia. I'm like, oh my God, what's she going through with all this?
She's hoping that show gets renewed, and it did.
It did.
By the way, did you finish watching?
I did finish it. Yes, I did finish it a couple weeks ago. Yes, knowing that it was going to have a second season does kind of change your perspective on the end, because if I didn't know, I'd be like, is that it? Is it over? Like, well, what's happening? But I thought it was well done. I enjoyed it. Again, it didn't nail football perfectly. There are a lot of things to look at and say, not quite sure that's how that works. But for an entertainment standpoint, I enjoyed it.
All right. So I've got Mark Sanchez at 3 today, and you already given 4.
I've already given my 4.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. My 4th, I had to dig a little bit, and somebody took the wind out of my sails a little bit because somebody texted in just a minute ago as we're doing this and nailed my 4th. And I think, let me go back here. Let me see this texter left a name. No, the texter weighed in at 129, and it's taking a little thunder out of my storm here because we're on the same page. The USA Ryder Cup team.
Ah, okay. That's a good one.
And they use the word smoked. Yeah, they got blistered in the Ryder Cup, and you're just like, guys, this has got to stop. This has gotten we are beyond embarrassing in the Ryder Cup, and it's just to the point like, thought, come on, like, what are you doing?
You had the crowd, great environment, energy was right, and it's again got steamrolled by.
Yeah. And so
I didn't think about that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I did for my best sports moments this year. Earlier today with Jack, I did throw Rory winning the Masters as like my number 1.
Okay.
Maybe he could be on the nice list too. I don't know.
That'd be a good one.
But so some interesting moments in golf this year for sure.
803-404-6100. So we go naughty list. Sharon Moore, Mark Sanchez, Lane Kiffin, Ryder Cup team are my 4, and your 4 were?
Lane Kiffin, Diego Pavia, Angel Campos, the guy that ejected Kevin Schnall in the College World Series, and Phillies Karen.
Okay. Keep an eye out. We have a very, very, very early leader for Naughty List 2026. Did you see yesterday the letter, the note, the letter, whatever you want to phrase it as, from Kevin Warren, Chicago Bears general manager, put out to the Chicago fan base?
I did see this, yes.
Okay, if you've not heard, now this is just, Kevin Warren is not hugely liked. He did not do well with the Big Ten.
Well, he got him in a lot of hot water.
Right. In an open letter to fans on Wednesday evening, team president and CEO, I said general manager, I'm sorry, team president and CEO Kevin Warren said the Bears will explore other locations outside of Cook County where the team owns a 326-acre property in Arlington Heights to build a dome stadium. This is where it gets remember, they're the Chicago Bears. Chicago's in Illinois. That includes, his letter includes the possibility of moving the Bears out of Illinois altogether. He says, in addition to Arlington Park, we need to expand our search and critically evaluate opportunities throughout the wider Chicagoland region, including Northwest Indiana. There you go, folks. There's your early leader to find himself on the naughty list if he wants to follow through on this.
If I'm Kevin Warren, I'm asking Santa Claus for a food taster this holiday season because you might be a target for some folks in Chicago if this ends up coming to fruition.
It's not not a bad idea. 803-404-6100. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 2. It's the Halftime Show. Well, call. Eight zero 6100 if you want to text in on anything. We certainly would like to hear from you. Tyler Head wrapping up. Just about one more hour left and then done for the year.
Yeah. Then a 2.5 hour drive back to Georgia after the show.
Oh, well,
So-
okay. I try to stay on the positive
Well,
side.
there's nothing wrong with it. I enjoy driving. People say, oh, I hate driving. Like, I actually enjoy driving, especially if I can get good podcast, the music going. The time kind of slips away. I've learned from driving back and forth to Georgia so much. When you're driving across the state line, those first 60 miles from here to Augusta fly by. When you're coming back, that's the longest 60 miles of your entire life. You feel like
Really?
you're never going to get
Okay.
back to your destination from exit 1 all the way. I live off exit 58 to get to exit 58. It feels like it takes 3 years to drive those final 60 miles.
All right. I will admit I've made that drive a lot of times in my life, and I guess now that little drive is I kind of consider it nice and easy. Good luck to you.
Thank
you. After tomorrow, won't see you again actually until January 6th. I got to be off January 5th for
That's right. We'll be reunited until
for a doctor's
well into the
appointment.
new year.
Yeah, so we're gonna. I guess you said better health in 2026, but I guess I'm gonna start it off with a doctor's appointment right off the bat on January 5th. It's gonna take all day. Anyway, 803-404-6100. Some of y'all are weighing in with your Christmas movie that you would watch. You got to watch 48 hours. Here's our stipulations. 48-hour marathon, folks. You get some popcorn. You get popcorn. You get 6 bathroom breaks. That seems fair.
I'm probably going to need 48 hours. That's 2 whole days, man. I need more than that.
That's 6 hours. Like, that's essentially maybe 6 hours and a little bit of change.
No. That's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I was doing a 40-hour work week.
This is 2 days, man. You need more than 6 trips to the
So
bathroom.
it's 36. So that'd be 7-hour holds, 42. So you need 8. 8 times 6 is 48. I don't know why my mind was stuck on 40 hours. 8 hours. So let's just say 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. All right. So do we have to double that
If you
for
can
every
give me
4 hours?
if you can give me 10 bathroom breaks,
You think that's it?
I think that's fair. You're talking
Okay.
about one every 4 to 5 hours. I think that's
No nap.
fair.
Yeah, we're going a little crazy with the rules. But anyway, what movie would you watch? You got to be, and I do this because I make it a little extreme because you got to be totally, you got to be totally involved.
And by the end of the 48 hours, you should be able to recite every line
Right.
in the film.
Yeah, well, you're tired
basically.
of it.
You're tired of it.
Yeah, you're tired. Not only are you tired of it, you're probably never watching it again. Well, one of the other great Christmas traditions, waking up early, whether it was you as a kid, I don't know which is better. You as a kid, or you'll look back on it. You'll look back. Mine are 16 and 13. Mine don't do the early stuff anymore. And, I split them with their mother. We've done year on, year off. I got to admit, I've grown to love the years that they come at noon. And like I've told them, you'll get a better show from Dad. You'll get a better show. Santa will still have come. The presents will still be there. You get a better show from Dad. So with that being said, though, here's Shane Beamer yesterday talking about being a parent and what time his kids wake him up on Christmas morning.
Great question. Probably not a lot because there's still the excitement of the kids, even though they're now 12, 16, and 17. There's still the excitement of Christmas morning and coming downstairs to see what Santa brought. I would say in years past it was, 5 or 5:30 in the morning. We had kids at the top of the steps in our house screaming at Emily and I to wake up. I'd say it's a little bit later, but the good news is I'm a morning person, Jay, so I'm up early anyway. So they're going to have a hard time, I think, beating me awake on that one. But certainly they're a little bit older, and it's not as early. It's still early, and the Christmas spirit certainly is still really, really high in our household.
What is your memory of, you don't have kids yet,
I do not.
but what is your memory of getting up early on Christmas?
I want to say my record was 2 a.m.
Oh, dear
I was
Lord.
a kid. I wouldn't go to sleep, right? I'd lay there just excited the whole time. And you kind of learn, like, all right, I think enough time has passed. I think Santa's come. And, like, I'd be quiet enough to not wake people up. But I want to go out there, play with my new stuff. Because for me, Santa didn't wrap things. It was just out.
Okay.
We
Yep.
had, like, a couch where my stuff would be, a chair where my sister's stuff would be. So I'd get out, see what I got, play with it for several hours. Now, when you're a young kid, I could go the entire night with not sleeping. As I got older, I would usually crash out around 5, 6 a.m. Be woken up by my parents or whatever at 8 or 9 for breakfast and more presents and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would sit in the living room. I'd put on cartoons or whatever, or the replay of the Hawaii Bowl from the night before.
Okay.
Play with my presents, watch the Hawaii Bowl, and just enjoy Christmas morning. So that was me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll admit, I think that lasted up until about 13 or 14 for me. I remember one specific. That was about the very end. Is I stayed up all night. The first time I ever stayed up all night, and basically, but we had a hard and fast rule in my mother passed away when I was 9. As soon as there's light outside, you can come out of your room. As
Fair.
soon as there's light, you do not come out your room until there's light. Also explains why I'm just 8 bathroom breaks in 48 hours to learn some things. We'll wrap it all up. Hour 3 on the way. is the 2 o'clock hour on a Thursday. KT from Lexington weighs in. Number one person on his naughty list. Number one person. Paul Maneri.
Okay.
Old Paul said he didn't come here to lose. That pretty much was all he did.
Yeah, lying will get you on the naughty list.
2 would be Pavia for KT. 3, Sharon Moore. And it's hard as a Gamecock fan not to argue with his 4th. Dabo will always be on there as well.
Yeah, that's universal. You can go ahead and pencil that in for 26, 27, 28. Just
Keep him on there.
a permanent fixture on the naughty list.
Also, Charlie weighs in with his Christmas movie, Bad Moms Christmas. All right.
I have seen that as well. That is a good movie.
Okay. All right. So you got all that. Who is on your sports naughty or nice list? You can send naughty and nice. You can send just naughty. You can send nice, whatever you want to go with. But send in your naughty or nice list on your sports figures. Now, we encompassed it all. I went for nice list. I went Clark Lee, Ryan Day, and Los Angeles Dodgers, and then Kevin Schnall in Coastal Carolina. My naughty list was Sharon Moore, Mark Sanchez, Lane Kiffin, and the Ryder Cup team. Yours?
Yeah, I went for nice list. Fernando Mendoza, Lee Corso, Cal Raleigh, Big Dumper, and then the inside the MDA crew. On the naughty list, I went Lane Kiffin, Diego Pavia, Angel Campos, the umpire that ejected Kevin Schnall in the College World Series, and then Phillies Karen.
Okay. All right. So that was ours. And then we've also got the movie discussion out there. What is the movie you got to watch 48 straight hours? Christmas Eve morning to Christmas, all the way through Christmas Day to the day after. It's just on. You're watching it. I give you some popcorn. You get a couple bathroom breaks in there. Beverages of your choice, whatever you want
to. Speaking of the nice list and naughty list, by the way, and when they had Nick Harvey from WIS on this morning, he brought my attention to this. Greg Sankey tweeted out, like yesterday, this photo of him and Santa.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
The caption was, "It's official. I have made the nice list, verified for the North Pole's official ambassador nice. Hashtag it just means more." And then in parentheses says, "And let's keep the comments merry and bright." It's almost like you can't give yourself a nickname. I feel like you can't proclaim yourself to be on the nice list.
No, that's not how it works.
Do we put Sankey on the naughty list too? He can just say it and then ask people to be nice about it.
He's an egomaniac because he's saying that he gets to be on the nice list?
I don't think anybody else can proclaim that without you looking at it and be like, if you have to tell us you're on the nice list,
tell us you're on the list, and then basically say, don't make smart comments back to me.
Don't make comments about the state of college football right now or the future of the playoff or anything like that. If you have to ask, that I don't know. That trends towards naughty to me.
Quick poll. 803-404-6100. Just text yes or no. Should Greg Sankey be on the naughty or nice list for 2025? Yes or no? Just that's all you got to send. I know what you're talking about. We'll tally them up real quick at the end of the segment. Yes or no. That's all you need to text. 803-404-6100 is how you can do that.
Yeah. Again, if you have to tell us you're on the nice list, I'm skeptical.
Okay. All right. Greg Sankey, naughty or nice list, because he told us he is. He told us that he is on the nice list. I'm with you. I think I'm leaning. If you're the egomaniac that needs to tell us you're on the nice list, you probably should be on the naughty list. I'm with you.
And by the way, the comments did not adhere to his request.
It's shocking on X. Absolutely shocking that they did not listen to his request for merry and bright comments. 803-404-6100. How you can do on that. Boy. All right. Good job, Greg. Good job.
Hey, you opened yourself up to it. If you don't put anything out there, you're not even in this conversation.
That's a good point.
So,
all right.
Do yourself.
Send that in. 803-404-6100. Get naughty or nice list for Greg Sankey, yes or no. This afternoon we have talked a little bit about Shane Beamer and the Gamecock football team. Do you think we should have an announcement from Lenore Sellers by now? Because it feels like it's trending. Like, here's we sit on a Thursday, because there's a backup question I'm going to have to this.
Okay.
If you say no.
It is almost kind of starting to feel like the Bryles thing from last week, where we came in on Monday saying, hey, the report's out there that Carolina and Sellers are finalizing a deal, so just wait to put pen to paper and all that kind of stuff. And now we're here on Thursday like, hey, this hasn't actually happened yet. What the heck's going on? So I think the concern level is like at a 2 for me, because, again, anything can happen at the last minute, and, he could change his mind. Somebody else could swoop in with an insane offer that he decides to take up. But I'll trust the reporting on this one of where it seems like it's going to happen. It's just not finalized yet. But yes, I think we'll all breathe a sigh of relief when it finally gets done.
Well, it comes back to what I asked you. How much do you build this up? Like, this is kind of it, right? Because Dylan Stewart, regardless, is going to be more low-key. Nick Harbor, I think, has already essentially said he's coming back. I don't know if there's an official. I thought there was something on Instagram, but this is kind of a Dylan Stewart's is going to be quiet, I'm pretty sure. Lenoris, do you build it up to like finish off the month with publicity? To be like, wow. Shane Beamer, I mean, we're already kind of saying it, but do you finish out with like, wow, Shane Beamer, he recovered from 4-8, and look at all the momentum they have.
Yeah, I think is maybe your last like wow moment for the offseason, probably. Because again, as we talked about in, April and May, I don't need to see videos of y'all having fun inside the facility or grit night or whatever it may be. Like, just keep your head down, go to work, and make next season better. But yeah, I think, and this is obviously a trend across college football, especially when your quarterback comes back. Put something out there, hype it up, give people another reason to be excited and jazzed. And yeah, you could do the same thing with Harbor and Stewart when they ultimately decide what they're going to do. But the quarterback's different.
So I'm with you. I think you build it up. So then my question simply becomes, all right, where is the best time to report some news and get it out there, right?
Yeah.
Do you do it tomorrow? Because, by the way, the Myrtle Beach Bowl is tomorrow at 11 o'clock. You mentioned that, so I'll get to have that on here in studio. Who is it playing? I don't even know who's playing.
It's Western Michigan and Kennesaw State.
They couldn't pick two worse teams to keep me involved for. I love midday sports during the week. This is testing. You really honestly, I will have it on here because I'll get to watch Kent State, and I'll have to pay a little bit of attention.
Western Michigan.
Western Michigan and who?
Kennesaw State. Not Kent State. Kennesaw State. Sorry.
That's how much I care. As soon as you say Western Michigan, I zone out. Western Michigan is one of the teams in this country, as soon as you say it, oh, man, I wonder what I'm doing for lunch tomorrow. It has nothing to do with football. So, yeah.
You won't get advanced scouting in this game for next year, unfortunately.
But Kennesaw State is your team.
Kennesaw
that actually is a little more interesting than Kent State, if you will. Now I'll be watching it.
My emotional support G5 team. Everybody needs one.
Boy, Western Michigan, again. So, but I say that because do you try and get it out tomorrow since there's a bowl game, and this could be mentioned throughout the day?
Yeah.
A little more prominently, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of the last, because, again, once you get into next week, everything's kind of on Christmas time, right? And I know Monday, Tuesday, maybe normal work days for a lot of people, but from a news standpoint, not typically putting a lot of things out there. So, yeah, this is kind of your last chance before the holiday to really make a headline type thing. It would also qualify as a Friday news dump too, I guess, where it might fly under the radar for a lot of people. But yeah, I just think to ease people's tension a little bit, go ahead and get it out there. Hopefully get it done in the next 24 hours.
I don't feel like Beamer's necessarily into easing people's tension. I think this is how can we blow this up to get maximum attention? Because I will, and I'm just going to throw this out there, and this is part of where I was going with this conversation. What if you held it to New Year's? To New Year to when those playoff games are starting to take place. Or if you put it out on Friday, I mean, it's whatever, however you want to look at it. But what if you put it out Friday when you've got the college football playoff going on all weekend?
Maybe.
Where it gets. Now, I'm not saying it would get full attention, but as they're doing some kind of look around the country and DJ Lagway's in the. Just kind of talking about how teams were built.
Yeah.
I feel like if I'm watching ABC or ESPN, whether it's 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 7 minutes, it's going to be brought up at some point. Lenore Sellers is returning, and they're kind of going through guys who use the portal and teams who are building and so forth and so on.
Yeah, it at least gets you on the ticker at the bottom of the screen on ESPN.
Right. That too, yeah.
Lenore Sellers confirmed to be returning for South Carolina for 2026. And, yeah, if they have a segment talking about what's going on with the portal and stuff like that, then sure, I'm sure it'll be brought up. How relevant is that, or how valuable is that? Debatable. Again, it's kind of that last thing to really get the fan base jazzed up this offseason before we go through a lot of I think this is going to happen for the next 9 months.
Well, I've been there, and I say not from an actual in-coaching experience, but I've been there from understanding coaches – wanting to put things out, because the follow-up to that is Shane Beamer or Mike Furry or Travian Robertson, Stan Drayton, running backs coach. So now, because I've seen this happen, and this is how whether it matters or not, what happens is like when you go to the portal in particular and you're looking for immediate impact players, you saw on ESPN, it's so important, ESPN's talking about it. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
That we got Lenore Sellers back. And that guy goes, well, that's true. You do have your quarterback. Well, maybe I'll at least take a visit. And now your foot's in the door, whereas if you put it out at, a random time, maybe ESPN doesn't run with it quite as well. But the fact that a coach can talk to a retransfer and be like, you saw that ESPN's promoting it. They're talking about. I know that happens. There are a lot of schools. There's a reason Bobby Bowden would wait until signing day to have all the flips when he had it really going,
That's fair.
or have all the announcements, and then Will Muschamp would flip everybody at Florida, and he would use that as momentum. Bobby Bowden would wait until signing day to have all these big blockbuster announcements so that it looked like
They were getting everybody.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and that is something that would resonate with people. Like, oh yeah, I was watching the playoffs and I saw that, or talking about Sellers. If they don't know a ton about him, which some guys may not, kind of having that name brought up on a national platform at a pivotal time in the college football season could go a long way.
And
We'll
they
see.
may. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I don't know the plan, but also Tyler to go with that. You feel like there'll be one segment somewhere of like, all right, we're at the 2025 playoff, but let's look ahead to teams that are breakout teams in 2026.
Possibly. I think that's fair.
You're taking it. Yeah.
Not that, because again, they do like college game day for every round. So yeah,
Yep.
Especially when you get like the semifinals. All right, you got 2 games in 3 hours. At some point, they're going to start looking around the country and talking about other things. So I imagine, hey, here's where quarterbacks are at in the portal or staying or whatever. You'd probably get brought up then.
Use it to your advantage. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. We'll come back. We'll get into a few other things here as we look to wrap up Tyler's year, and I'll be back tomorrow, reminder, for the final show of the year for us. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. You're listening to the Halftime Show. 12:18 on a Thursday. We are following a situation with the NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. Tyler and I are trying to be very selective in what we say on air, unless we are for certain. But there has been a plane crash in North Carolina, and it is, as we know, what we know to be factual is that Greg Biffle owned the plane.
Correct. It was his plane that went down a couple hours ago in the Statesville area. Again, plane crashes have to be investigated. There's a long process to that. And I have my list of sources that I always go to with news like this. Nobody has officially confirmed that he was on the plane. The closest thing that we have, Garrett Mitchell, who's a motorsports internet personality, Cletus McFarland on YouTube, good friend to Greg Biffle, did put out a post earlier saying that he knew that him and his family were on the plane because they were on their way to do something with him and his people. So that's the most confirmation we've got up to this point. Again, from the official reporting outlets I typically go to, we've not gotten anything from them as of yet. So I can't say with 100% certainty. I will say what we've gotten up to this point does not look good.
Yeah. Again, there is what is being reported is not by traditional news media at this particular time. I'm looking at it. We're trying to figure out what to say that I don't want to come on here and report news that has not been reported by true professionals that actually do the work and are on the scene. There are some people who are posting videos that are there because it appears this crash occurred at an airport and on the runway.
Yeah.
And we have not heard exactly any details of what occurred with the crash.
Yeah, and I know they had a presser about an hour or two ago, and I don't believe they confirmed of anybody that made it out of the wreckage alive. Again, you don't know how many people were on the plane or anything like that. Again, from the friend who, again, is a media personality himself, Garrett Mitchell, that he did say, according to him, was on the plane with possibly a couple of members of his family, wife, at least one daughter. Again, that's just based on what he said. But again, no official outlets have reported this as of yet. But again, when you put everything together, it doesn't look good, right? And I imagine 1 billion people in the industry reached out to him trying to get in contact to see if he's okay. And we've not got any confirmation that anybody's been able to get in touch with him.
I'm sure by the end of the day, I don't know how that exactly works, but that it'll be officially reported. But right now, as of now, it is being said that his wife, his 14-year-old daughter, and his 5-year-old son were on the plane with him. Let's all pray that's not the case. But unfortunately, as Tyler said, I say that out loud because it's not one person saying it. It's multiple people. And I know traditional news media will do their due diligence or will not say anything until they get a source from like a coroner or
for anybody that's been a long-time racing fan, there's unfortunately been a really long list of aviation accidents that have claimed the lives of a lot of very important people and their families in the industry. And right now, it's looking like we're dealing with another one. Again, not confirmed by any official outlets yet, but what we've got so far, not looking good.
803-404-6100. So we're mentioning it. We talked about it in the last hour, but again, we want to be selective in what we say because we're kind of relying on, again, what I would call traditional media to wait.
Right.
And report something official and not just follow one of the guys on here, Matt Van Swole. Don't necessarily need to take the words Matt Van Swole, SWOL for those. I'm assuming that's a parody, but again, welcome to X and Twitter. Anyway, but we're following it and we're waiting to see if anything is officially reported between now and the end of the show. We will repeat that. 803-404-6100. There's other topics I want to get into, but I do want to come back to this question for you real quick.
Okay.
Texter weighs in after our discussion there about LaNorris Sellers. If LaNorris does return, do you think he'll be as hyped nationally next year as he was this preseason?
Definitely not. I think there will be the belief of like, hey, they made the change necessary at offensive coordinator to help him, but I don't think he's going to show up on as many preseason Heisman list. I still think there'll be buzz about him being a high draft pick just based on it. Because, again, even if he wanted to go to the draft this time around, he would still get drafted really high on his natural ability and upside. So I still think when you look at mock drafts for next year, he'll still be pretty high on that. But the belief of like, oh, this guy's definitely going to be one of the best quarterbacks in college football this year, I think that will be a lot quieter this time around.
Okay. I think he'll get a lot of publicity, but it's going to be mixed in with the fact, I mean, you start to look at this quarterback class that's expected to come out next year, and he's going to be tied in with all those guys.
Yes.
And so, I think you're going to see people comparing him to other players, and in turn, there's going to be some publicity. It'll be interesting to see also what the national media does with Kendall Briles and Lenore Sellers, because I can also see that being a bit of change of pace and being like, okay, look at who he's got, and somebody mentioned earlier, I don't know, I talked to too many people now, but you look at what Kendall Briles did with KJ Jefferson, which is the big one. Jack Veltri mentioned earlier, and this is a great one. I'd forgotten about De'Aaron King at Houston.
That's right. Yep, 2018.
Yeah. So you kind of look around and you go, boy, the players he's worked with are extremely similar to Lenore Sellers. And
again, Kendall Briles has that name that everybody in college football knows, where the Dow Loggins hire a couple years ago, a lot of Gamecock fans didn't know a lot about Dow Loggins when he was hired. Right. So that wasn't something that, even working with Spencer Rattler, generated a lot of buzz in the offseason. But I imagine in terms of like, if you're reading those articles in, June or whatever, of storylines to watch in college football, how can Kendall Briles help Lenore Sellers? Because those are two names that people are going to know that are going to be interlocked with each other in conversations this entire offseason. Because, again, Briles is a name that people know, at least have an idea of what he does offensively and the success that he's had. And I think it would be kind of, all right, well, let's see what he does with a very talented quarterback that took a few steps back this past year.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to do so. Coming up in the next segment, we'll get to our worst 2025 sports takes, the things we were most wrong on. But let's kind of – you got one that's standing – I feel like you've got one that's really on your mind of you.
I did have a quarterback that I thought was going to take – this isn't Sellers that I thought was going to take a real big step forward this year, and that – did not happen.
Okay.
So that's going to be top of my list.
All right, we'll get to that coming up in the next segment. But real quick, let's look at the playoff. About 5 minutes left in this segment. Let's look at the playoff coming up. You'll be out. Let's start with this. Playoff game this weekend you are most excited to see. Now, I feel like you've got 3 that you can choose from. One of those 3 is a little bit probably more down the list. 2 are probably hand in hand, and then you got Memphis and Tulane, which I'm going to side with Memphis winning that one pretty good, but I could be wrong.
You mean Ole Miss and Tulane? Said Memphis.
I'm sorry. Why did I say Memphis? I've got the bowl schedule in front of me, too.
Okay.
But I was trying to get to the playoff schedule. Yeah, I'm sorry. Ole Miss.
I think we're collectively looking at Jamie and Oregon as the 4th most anticipated.
Memphis, by the way, just to not sound crazy, Memphis plays after Kennesaw and Western Michigan tomorrow. They play North Carolina State in the Union. So I'm looking at their names. I was looking at tomorrow's schedule because I started with the playoff of Alabama, Oklahoma, and right above Alabama, Oklahoma, it says Memphis, NC State. So I apologize. I was looking dead at Memphis, and I said, that's a stupid mistake.
I think Miami A&M has the potential to be the funnest game, because I think those are 2 teams that can kind of go up and down the field and score points on each other. I think I'm most looking forward to Alabama and Oklahoma, because I kind of know what to expect out of both teams because I've seen the play. Tight game. Obviously, Oklahoma's defense is the reason they won that game, forcing 3 turnovers a couple weeks ago. And obviously, the Alabama aspect of any game is always going to be interesting, especially them going on the road in their first 12-team playoff appearance. But I think Miami and A&M is probably going to be the most fun game of the weekend. I mean, we could be looking at 38-35, maybe in overtime or something like that, where I feel like the Alabama-Oklahoma game kind of be that grinder, more slobber knocker type of game with the way those 2 teams play.
All right. So you're going with the offensive.
Yeah, in terms of like what I think would be the most fun game, then Alabama-Oklahoma. I think Tulane, because the aspect of like Pete Golding being a first-time head coach in a playoff game, there could be some bumps, right? He could make some mistakes or do things not exactly perfectly that could give Tulane a little bit of a area that they could exploit. I think Ole Miss still wins the game at the end of the day, but Tulane has the ability to make that game fun.
Okay. All right. So now let's fast forward to something that we will be able to discuss. Let's make some picks real quick. I like this idea.
Okay.
Because we'll be back. We'll be back for the championship game.
Yes, we will.
But real quick, Oklahoma -1.5 tomorrow night, 8:00.
Oklahoma.
See, I'm going Bama. I think Bama gets them this time. Miami A&M noon. That's where game day will be. Texas A&M -3.5.
I win A&M.
As soon as I take A&M, they're going to fall apart. It's battered Aggie syndrome, but I'm with you, A&M. Tulane, Ole Miss. Ole Miss 17.5. So now you got to pick one. Are they covering?
I'll pick Tulane to cover, but I'll give Ole Miss the win.
Okay, all right. I'm taking Mississippi to cover and obviously win outright. And Saturday night, 7:30, out in Eugene, Oregon, 21-point favorites, Oregon against James Madison.
I think a win and a cover for Oregon.
I do too. I think that. So we both have A&M. We both have Mississippi. I've got them covering, and we both have Oregon winning and covering. And then Tyler takes Oklahoma. I take Alabama. So there's our picks for that. We'll come back real quick. We'll get into the best college football playoff matchups, and we'll also talk about Tyler's got to get. He's got something he's got to get off his chest, folks. He had a bad call. He had a bad call. That's okay. I'd like to. I'm sure I've had multiple this year. I just don't remember them. That's the key.
It's not that I was wrong. It's just the people that I expected to be better weren't.
We'll
That's all.
We'll get to that. You're listening to Tyler Head, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It's the Halftime Show. We will get to Tyler hashing it out with a few people apparently this year who did not live up to Tyler's expectations in just a second. But let's finish up some.
I set them up. They didn't come through for me.
Let's finish some playoff discussion here for right now, and then we'll readdress when we come back from our Christmas break. You got these 12 teams in. What is your ideal to keep you interested? Because I felt last year, me personally, can't speak for you, felt personally last year that by the end of it all, I was burnt out of college football. I had zero interest in Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Really?
None.
All right.
Not the way I want to be. Wasn't thrilled with myself. Very disappointed in myself, quite frankly. Zero interest. And we were up in Cherokee, and it didn't help that I got a little sick to begin with and ended up watching the majority of the game from my room. But what matchup right now as you look at these 12 teams says, I will watch that?
Does it have to be in the national championship?
Preferably. But if you've got a matchup that you want to see, give it to us as well.
I think the best potential matchup of the entire playoffs is Georgia and Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl in the semifinals because they're seeds 2 and 3. There's no pathway for those two to play for the national championship, but I think that could give us the best overall game because last time they played, barn burner in the Peach Bowl, that Georgia would win and go on to win the national championship. Just the way that both teams played, Georgia's come on strong as the years gone on. Obviously, Ohio State just completely loaded with talent everywhere. That's a matchup I do want to see. In terms of like what I think the best national championship matchup could be, again, Georgia would have to get through Ohio State. I'd like to see Georgia play Indiana. And again, Indiana got the best of Ohio State, but two teams that pride themselves on defense and obviously having really effective offenses as well with two quarterbacks that I don't think people knew what to expect out of coming into the year, so to speak, that have obviously exceeded expectations in both regards. I think that'd be a fun national championship, but I wouldn't mind an Ohio State Indiana rematch either because of how good that game was in the Big Ten title game a couple weeks ago.
Okay, all right. So I got to admit, here's kind of when you said that, I instantly started looking real quickly and was like, matchups I want to see. Second round. Have you really paid attention? Do you know these?
I know what they can be, yes.
All right. I got to admit, give me all of Oregon, Texas Tech.
That sounds like a fun game.
I'd love to see it. It's two teams not in the same conference. Absolutely would love that. If we're just going to second round. When you asked that instantly got me thinking, what will I watch on New Year's and New Year's Day? What would attract me? Miami and Texas. Miami and Ohio State would be 7:30 on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
The name brands, and that would be in the Cotton Bowl. But Miami and Ohio State would be a lot of fun. Harken back to the 2022 national championship, I believe is right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 2002.
Yep. But Miami, Ohio State would be, to me, an absolute blast. Go up, put them with Oregon, Texas Tech, which is, I believe, scheduled for New Year's Day.
Yeah, that's the first game. That's the Orange Bowl at noon on New Year's Day.
Wow, Orange Bowl at noon. I'm not sure it's going to throw me off. I really like that. And then give me Old Blood, Alabama, New Blood, Indiana.
Yeah, and look, I picked Oklahoma to win, but they're going to do it purely on defense because that offense hasn't been doing much since Mateer came back from his hand injury. I don't think an Indiana-Oklahoma game would be as fun to watch. I think it could, that's like a, 10-7 final score type of thing. If you want fun, I think Alabama, with what they have on offense and what Indiana has on offense, could be a game where you got both teams scored into the 20s, maybe the 30s, and a lot of highlight moments offensively.
If I go to the next round, Alabama, Oregon, I think would be fun. That would be in the Peach Bowl. That'd be really cool. And then I'm kind of with you. Ohio State, Georgia in the Fiesta Bowl would be pretty neat.
Do you feel like Oregon, and again, the seeding of 1 through 4, we all know how they got there, and Texas Tech got that by winning a conference championship. I feel like Oregon's probably like, if I'm going in order of who I think can really win it, they're probably like number 4 for me, right? Like behind Indiana, Ohio State, and Georgia, I would say Oregon, despite being the 5 seeds, probably got the 4th best shot, in my opinion, to win it all.
I want to see more of Texas Tech. I didn't watch enough of them. But to me, there was 5 teams. I just backed it out to all 5 because I feel like I'm cheating Texas Tech if I'm like, I don't think they have a chance to win. I watched them play against Utah. I saw the BYU game, and I had them on, and I think the fourth quarter of the TCU game that I remember? See, I don't even remember well enough.
The problem with Texas Tech is we don't know them outside of the Big 12.
I agree.
Because their non-conference slate was bad. They played Oregon State, which that doesn't really count as a power team anymore, but their credible opponents were all within the Big 12. They won every single one of those games, with the exception of Arizona State. So I just don't like if they had played like a Tennessee, if they had played a Michigan, if they had played, I don't know, Virginia or something along those lines. I'd have a better idea of how they stack up against other teams from other conferences, but I just don't have that. So they're just purely against the backdrop of the Big 12, and that doesn't tell me enough about them. Fun team to watch, and I enjoyed watching them in the championship game a couple weeks ago, but I don't have a full idea of what they are outside of the Big 12.
All right, so I've worked my way through this playoff now, and I did it in 4 minutes. Second round, Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, Indiana, Miami, Ohio State. Those all have me intrigued. I'll keep watching. Georgia, Mississippi's the other one. The third round, Ohio State, Georgia. I'm all in on that. I'll watch that. That would be January. Are they the same day?
It'd be the 8th. So it'd be
8th and 9th. 8th and 9th. Okay, 8th and 9th. The 8th would be Georgia, Ohio State. I'd be all in on that. That's a great one.
Great.
We max that out. On the other side of things, I love the thought of Alabama, Indiana. That's really intriguing to me. And then give me a championship game, is what you said. I'm with you. Indiana, Georgia.
So Alabama, Indiana would have to be in the quarterfinals.
Semis.
So, no. They would match up in the quarters.
Did I say Alabama, Indiana?
Yeah.
I meant, I don't want to see a conference matchup. I know what I meant. I'm sorry. I had Alabama, Oregon.
Okay, yes, that can happen in the semis. Because Alabama would have to go through Indiana in the Rose Bowl to get to the semis.
Okay. Yeah, I messed up on my bracket here because I did it so quickly. I apologize. I was not ready to go down this path. I only prepared for the championship game I wanted to see.
That is another thing as we change the playoff again next year. The whole, seeding thing, because in the NFL, the number one overall seed gets to play the worst seed in the next round. We have tie-ins specifically of if Team A beats Team B, they play Team C in the next round. I think that should change to where, Indiana, if Oklahoma wins, and let's say James Madison wins, they should be able to play James Madison as the 12th seed as opposed to Oklahoma, the 8th seed. Just my thought, because that's how other postseasons work.
It's funny because when you posted this, in my preparation, I was like, Georgia, Indiana. That's what I want to see. And then as we started the segment, I was like, let me back this out a little bit more and go through the playoffs. And so I threw a curveball at you, and then my curveball was so good it struck me out because I guess I'd have to settle for Alabama, Oregon, which I'm now talking myself into as we do live radio. And I'm like, you know what? All right, Georgia, Oregon in the national championship game. I could probably get on board with that. Indiana, Oregon was a great game. I kind of want to see the true new blood in there that would keep me in. And then Georgia's a team that I follow and that I like. I'd be like, okay, all right, let's go Dogs. Let's go get it done. And, by the way, I put out that video that's gone viral of the Georgia kid.
Yeah, I saw.
Not singing Rocky Top. Absolutely fantastic.
Good young man. But it feels like there are more teams capable of winning the whole thing this year than last year, which is fun.
I'm with you. I don't want to see conference matchups. I don't want to see I'm not thrilled about Alabama, Oklahoma on Saturday or tomorrow night. That's when's tomorrow night.
I wish it was going to snow. It's going to be nice weather.
Something different.
Give us something a little flavor.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up here. We'll come back. We didn't get to Tyler's hot take. We got to get. I don't want him to go to Christmas angry at somebody. We're going to let him get that off, and we'll wrap up the show here. You're listening to the Halftime Show. Final segment of the year for the one and only Tyler Head. Yeah. How much has 2025 changed you?
Oh, a lot, man. A lot of, and again, doing this job here, we've seen a lot of downs, unfortunately. But yeah, elsewhere in life, I'd say 2025 was a pretty good year, all things considered. And here's hoping that 26 is even better. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, one of the things that occurred in 2025 for you was apparently placing some trust that was uncalled for in certain football players, and they let you down. So get it off your chest.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
And so I made my first ever trip to Media Days this year in Atlanta. And when you're there, you see these players walking around. Again, depending on who's speaking that day, you look around, see, okay, man, that's Caden Proctor. See him in person, Gunnar Stockton, Arch Manning. You see all these guys walking around in just, suits or whatever, but you get to really see who they are up close and personal. And one person that really stuck out to me was DJ Lagway. I'm like, my God, this guy is a monster. He's huge, comparable to Lenore Sellers, obviously. And I kind of looked at things, how his first year at Florida had been, and I was like, this might be the year that he kind of turns it on, right? He gets going consistently, kind of smooths things out. And I wasn't going to say he was going to win the Heisman Trophy or anything, but I expected, not that I wanted this to happen, but I expected DJ Lagway to have a significant step forward this year, and obviously that didn't happen. So I would say that was the thing I was probably most wrong about in 2025.
You've got me trying to think back to some of my extreme hot takes that I had. And I say that ones that were a little more out there than others. I think I had South Carolina going 9-3, but a lot of people did.
Yeah, I had them like 8-4. We were all wrong about that.
I didn't miss. That's not one that you're like, man, why did you say that? I don't know if I had any. I know I did, but I'm not sure what my, wow, how can you say that? Because I took a very balanced 50-50 stance on baseball. Preston and I back then in January and February were kind of like, what is this team?
Yeah.
Who in the world are they? And I know less now than I knew going into last season. But I don't know if I made any extreme predictions that went terribly wrong where people are like, Gunnar, what are you saying? Why are you saying that? I don't think I hit one of those this year.
When we come back in and start the year in January, when we have an emphatic idea or a take on something, we're going to write it down. And we're going to readdress at the end of next year to see how right and wrong we were about everything. How about that?
Keep track of. That's why I say sometimes I'll say clip that or keep that, and we need to do that because there'll be some hot takes that we'll get right off the bat that'll get us going. If you got anything you want to weigh in on Tyler's last show of the year, so final thoughts. We'll start big picture from you.
Okay.
As we turn you loose. Final thoughts on 2025 as a whole, and let's start with college football.
From the entire sport of college football, entertaining. I mean, I didn't know what to expect week in and week out, and as we mentioned a moment ago, I think we've got a 12-team playoff with a lot of teams capable of making a run at a championship, which is exciting. We got the coaching carousel of all coaching carousels that is still keeping us entertained because Michigan's got to go hire somebody at this point, and we'll see what they do with that. And I feel like a lot of the bigger headlines ended up being things that happen off the field, right? And mainly involving coaches, Kiffin, Sharon Moore, and all that kind of stuff. But and again, college football is the majority of what we do here because we're in the South, and this is a college football, college sports type of town. So we were not hurting for things to talk about this year, which I'm always a fan of.
All right. 2025 in Gamecock sports.
Oh, hopefully something we can forget.
Okay.
We've gone over the numbers of how they fared against quality opponents in the big three sports we mainly focus on: basketball, baseball, and of course football. Not a whole lot of redeeming qualities. Again, we've been putting together our best of stuff for the year to replay over the next couple weeks, and
it's not going to be positive.
It was harder to find. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have, really no signature wins in football.
No.
Really none in all three of those sports, right?
No.
They beat LSU in that one game in baseball on that Thursday night, but that wasn't even a full series. That was one game.
Right.
And it's like not a whole lot to really look back on and say, that was awesome. There's a few moments in the football season, like the punt return touchdowns for Swain, some of Harbor's touchdowns, like, oh, wow, that was cool. But when you know the ending, it's like, it's harder to enjoy.
All right. Final thing in the program for Tyler was something we're going to start doing in the final episode. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yes.
What do you have for us today?
Eggnog.
Okay.
You thumbs up or thumbs down?
All right, there's two levels to this. Spiked eggnog, thumbs up, baby. Now, I'm not drinking any of it right now. It is something I'm missing during Christmas. I had gotten into buying the pre-made, like Jim Beam, or there's a Philadelphia, I can't remember. It's got more of a gold and yellow and red type label. And I'm good for about a bottle.
Okay.
Maybe two. And this started a couple years ago, but there's been none this year. But and I don't know if it's something. Actually, I just saw the kidney doctor was just called me now. So now that I got to call them back for something else, I'll be like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Like, is this if I have a few glasses this weekend, eggnog as a whole, I'm good for like 3 or 4 cups because I'm not going to drink it the rest of the year.
Right. I'm thumbs down. I'm just not a
Okay.
fan.
All right.
Spiked, plain is not for me.
No, the spiked all in, baby. The because again, and you're right, it's not even something I start drinking at the beginning of December. It's about this window of like maybe last weekend or maybe this weekend where I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm doing this and it doesn't last. I might if there's some left post Christmas, finish it up. January 1, it goes in the trash.
Oh, more power to you.
So
Thumbs down for me.
I'm a 2 or 3 week, but I give it a thumbs up. Man, it's great to start working with you. I appreciate this.
It's been fun.
You've taken care of me a lot this year. I'm very thankful for you and for our partnership here on this radio station and the show we do. He's out tomorrow. I'm back. Producer Ed Bird's back. And we'll talk to you then. Yeah, that literally was the kidney doctor. I was like, I need to answer that. I was like, we're right here. Yeah, they're like my kids. Because my kids.